Hello, my name is Mike Hurst from Highland Farm. I'm in charge of growing the dwarf Alberta spruces. And one of the things we're going to go over today is how to fertilize the dwarf Alberta spruce. This right here is an example of a dwarf Alberta spruce. And before we do any fertilizer, we have to identify what kind of plant this is. This is actually considered to be a determinate plant because it is grown by buds. Buds are preformed stem and leaf parts formed this year to expand and become the new needles of next year. So if you want good growth for next year, you have to fertilize this year for the growth for the new parts to form in the bud. Once the bud is formed, it does not produce any more needles or any more stems. What it does is that when it emerges, all the preformed cell parts only enlarge. So all this new growth from this year was actually formed in the previous year's bud. And during this growth year, it just expanded and got larger. With this knowledge in hand, when we go to fertilize these, we want to fertilize these when the buds are forming or before the buds are forming. So that way the fertilizer gets into the system of the plant, and the plant thinks, oh, this is a great growing season. We're going to make lots of extra needles and lots of extra buds for next year. Not really buds, but more or less needles. So when we fertilize this, we fertilize right before the buds are formed. And these guys, the buds form about a little bit late August, somewhere in September. That's when the buds are formed. So we want to fertilize before that. So we do like June, July, sometime in August, just so the buds get the fertilizer for next year. So when we put the fertilizer down, that affects the system. The system thinks it's a good year, and in turn, when it makes its buds, those buds are formed with extra stem parts, which is very important. For other things when fertilizing, you can fertilize for color, but color is not that important when you're thinking about the size and growing for speed. So you can put fertilizer down and green it up, but usually it's more important to hit it right before the buds, like a month before the buds form, for next year's growth. Other things that are important besides just fertilizing is making sure you have enough water, because water usually has a greater effect on growth than does fertilizer. With this information, we can go around and fertilize just about any other types of plants that you need. And if you have any questions on specific plants, please give us a call at 215-651-8329. Thank you.
Do you need a deer-resistant windbreak or barrier that's going to help you save energy by cutting winter heating costs? Well, arborvitaes, cypresses, and cryptomerias may be part of your solution. Many arborvitaes are really eaten hard by deer. That variety is usually called the American arborvitae, or one of the cultivars known as the emerald green, and they do get eaten very badly. But some cultivars don't get eaten as much, and this is one of them. It's a cultivar called a green giant arborvitae. It's a very fast grower, and the deer don't like it because it has a bitter taste. The same thing happens with the Leland cypress. It's a fast-growing cypress, and it is deer-resistant. Another one is the cryptomeria. This is Cryptomeria yoshino. It offers very good deer resistance. Now, these plants are really good for windbreaks and barriers because they grow exceptionally fast. They can grow 3 feet a year. And again, we have different varieties. This is a green giant. Now, this is another type. This is called the Western Red Cedar Zebrina. So as you can see, we grow quite a few of them. These are just a small batch of what we grow here at Highland Hill Farm. And of course, we have the deer ravaged and really eaten hard, the emerald green. And we grow thousands of them, so we're not going to run out of stock here. And this is Bill. He's our irrigation expert. How's it going today, Bill?
Checking things out.
Okay. Everything in this nursery is under drip irrigation, and when we install a windbreak or a hedge for you, we always put in this if there's enough trees in the order to warrant it. You can't water 50 trees at a time with a garden hose. It just doesn't work. And the survival rate increases dramatically when you use this drip irrigation line. So we include that in most of our jobs for free because we want to make sure the trees grow for you. And as you can see, we have quite a few thousands of trees here at Highland Hill Farm. And we ship them all up and down the East Coast. And on this particular farm in Fountainville, we have about 22 acres. And as you can see, all the trees are very nice and uniform. We try and have a uniform product for people. And these are some larger green giants in pots. I don't recommend them, but some people want them because they're easier to plant. We prefer to sell a balled and burlap product for the green giant, if it's like over 3, 4, 5 feet. These 3-foot green giants in here are easy to plant, and that's a good selection. But when you get a little bit larger, you should go to the balled and burlap. These are white pines, another fast-growing cultivar for windbreaks and hedges. But the problem with white pine is it can be eaten by deer, and you can see the lower branches are sort of deer ravaged here at Highland Hill Farm, because we have thousands of deer around here. This is in an area where there's a big park, and the park has a lot of deer. This is some of our equipment that we deliver with. And on this truck over here, this is getting ready to go out. This is a truck going out to do a planting. Sometimes we take 1 or 2 MT55s and MT52s with us to do the planting. Over here we have some of our digging equipment for on this farm. This is an S250 Bobcat, and behind it we have our big tree spade. And this is what we use to dig big tree balls with. We also raise a lot of real large eastern red cedars, as well as the larger green giants. This is it shows a little bit of deer damage on it, but not too bad. Grown in this area here, right within about a mile of this particular farm. In this area here, we have a couple hundred acres, and in Bradford County, we have a couple thousand. And we ship all up and down the East Coast, from North Carolina up to Boston. These are a fast-growing deer-resistant tree. This is the Norway spruce. So give us a call at 215-651-8329 and get started with saving money with a windbreak and a barrier.